It's this lovely bowl meditation that's been starting the day here. It's really, if you can make it, it'll put you in a good space. No telling what may appear on the horizon. Ain't no reason to fear, I'm taking it day by day. No telling what you might hear, could be surprising. Hey, my position's clear, I'm taking it day by day. Lift up your voice and sing it out. Haul in the mainsail and turn her about. You keep believing that life is sweet and it's yours for the taking. Hey, and you'll never miss a beat by taking it day by day. And under a bright blue sky, hope lies unshaken. You're happy and so am I to be taking it day by day. So I lift up my voice and I sing it out. I set a new course and turn it about. Keep believing that life is sweet and it's yours for the taking. And you'll never miss a beat, taking it day by day. And under a bright blue sky, faith lies unshaken. You're happy and so am I to be taking it day by day. We be taking it day by day, simply taking it day by day. Hello all, taking it day by day.
You got me?
And here to start today, the Reverend Ken.
Hey! Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Ken Wilcox, and you're most welcome to be here this morning. You know, we are a unique spiritual community. We do not have any dogma. You will never feel pressured to join or to give being a part of our community. We encourage you to come to a God of your understanding, one that you can use to empower your life, to create more joy, love, and happiness. And to get started on that process, all you have to do is one simple thing, easy, and that is to leave all your troubles, your wouldas, your couldas, your shouldas, leave that stuff outside. And for the next 45 minutes or so, open up an avenue of spirit possibilities in your life. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more laughter, more friendship, more music, more dance, all those things in life that make us feel alive. Because that's what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, as always, I have many announcements, and that's actually a good thing because that means that we're doing lots of good stuff. The first one is, well, first of all, let's start off with a real wonderful. Susan Coffey is going to come up and tell us about our after-service workshop. So come on up, Susan.
I'm doing a constellation workshop, which has nothing, by the way, to do with astrology. It's the same word, but different. Constellation is a modality to help bring healing and movement to the issues that you're working on, because we can know things in our head, but some issues stay stuck in our cells. Like, I know I shouldn't let what other people think of me trigger me, but it does. And I know I deserve love and money and success, but where is it? So let me show you how constellations can help you look at what a part of you is a mystery to you. So if you're ready to stretch your comfort zone a little bit, join me here today, 11:30.
Wonderful. Thank you, Susan. Now, we still have a need for greeters, people who are welcome people into our community. That's 1 month a Sunday. If that's something that you would like to do, if you can see me after service, we can certainly use your help. We have our commitment dinner and our anniversary dinner. This center has been here for 40 years, which is pretty remarkable achievement. We're going to celebrate that on November the 7th. That will also be the night that our Sam and Lucy's new choir is going to debut. So come for that commitment dinner and hear the choir. I've already heard them. It's amazing, and it's going to be a great evening. So we're going to be sending out an Eventbrite sign up, and so we'll work on that as we get going on that. Classes are on Thursdays at 3 o'clock, Beyond Limits. It's already started, but if you'd like to drop in, feel free to do that. We have a new members class today at 11:30. So if you've been coming here and you would like to know more about our community, join with me in the back room at 11:30. It'll be an introductory class, and you can learn more about our teaching in this community and how to become a member. We have Christmas on Ponce. They've been wanting me to announce this. This will happen the Sunday before Christmas. We all will gather together and go sing Christmas carols at the Ponce Nursing Home, and we will also hand out Christmas gifts to people who are there. So we will continue announcing that as it comes closer, but that's a really fun event. We have our Mystic Fair coming up, and we could use some help with that. Some volunteers helping us that day. There's a sign-up sheet out in the hall. Be sure to write your name and your telephone number and email legibly. You know, hieroglyphics is hard to read these days, so write them legibly, your name and your telephone number. And also promote the event on social media. That will help us out tremendously. And finally, Chatty Cathy, where is the lovely Chatty Cathy, if you'll stand up? Stand up. She is going to be clearing out one of the spaces in our front that's become overgrown. She's doing that at Thursday, what time? Saturday, what time? Way too early for me, but 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Join us here if you're a gardener, if you would like to help. Well, those are all my announcements. So to get us going, we've got some great music from Don. Don, what you got for us?
Let's go drifting through the trees. Let's go sailing on the seas. Let's go dancing on the juke joint floor. Leave our troubles all behind and have a party. So easily forgotten, the most important things, like the melody and the moonlight in your eyes. And the song that lasts forever just keeps on getting better all the time. Life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night. Somewhere in this world, the sun is shining bright. I get crazy, so afraid that I might lose you some fine day, and I'd be nothing but a tired old man. I don't want to see the party without you. So easily forgotten, the most important things is I love you, I do. And I want to spend my days and nights just walking through this crazy world with you. 'Cause life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night. Somewhere in the world, the sun is shining bright. Life is beautiful, life is wondrous, every star above shining just for us. Life is beautiful on a stormy night. Somewhere in the world, the sun is shining bright.
That was amazing, Don. Thank you so much. Good to remember on a rainy day that even though the clouds are out there, the sun is still shining bright. All right, to get our service going, we've got the amazing Linda Ryan coming up to do a reading and treatment for us. Come on up, Linda.
Good morning, everyone. My message from Spirit this week was on loving. So my meditation earlier was on loving, and so is this. And I will share a little bit from the daily word on loving before we do our affirmative prayer. I am loving, kind, and compassionate. Divine love lives within me. I am an integral part of my spiritual makeup. Love flows from my heart, coloring my thoughts and guiding my actions. Opportunities to express my loving impulse as kindness, compassion, and understanding bless me as well as others along my path. I choose loving kindness even when I am tempted to turn away from an uncomfortable situation. I don't know what other people are going through or what frustrations or unfortunate conditions may have caused their sour moods. But I respond from the love in my heart. I become a channel for blessings. I am loving, knowing that sharing love creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to be loving. And as we've learned, we're here to love unconditionally and to learn. So now in prayer, I'm going to say this in the first person, so you can take it as your own. But if you'd like to just get comfortable with your feet on the floor, and if you wish to close your eyes, by all means do so. I know that there is one divine presence. That presence is all-loving, everywhere present, all-knowing. I am the individualization of that one loving presence. I am so excited that I am a part of that presence. That presence is everywhere present. I know as I go through my week that I can smile with joy, that I can share that presence with others just through a smile or through an acknowledgement. I know that when this sharing goes on, that others feel that vibration, feel that comfort. I know that this is my truth, that it is my role to share this loving joy to all around. And I know that this is the absolute truth. I am very grateful for this knowing, grateful for this center, grateful for the messages we get each week, grateful for our leadership in Reverend Ken, for our IT people, for all those that help with our food, with our gardening, with all the volunteers, greeters. We are so fortunate to have all this grace within us and within this center. I am so grateful. And so I let this go and let God, and so it is.
So this morning, we're very fortunate to have an amazing speaker here. Ron Fox has been a leader and a minister in our movement for a long, long time. He's really one of the best. And so we're very fortunate to have him today. He's my friend, and I know you're going to love him. Dr. Reverend Ron Fox. Come on up, Ron.
So thank you. It's been while I'm getting set here, it's been a while since my wife and I have been here, and I had actually forgotten the last time we were here until this morning. I don't know if you remember, but Becky, that's my wife Becky, who's a practitioner emeritus, and we were scheduled to do a workshop here on a Saturday, and on the Friday before, they announced a hurricane warning. So when we showed up, it was Becky and me and Reverend Ken. And but it wasn't a totally lost weekend because we were staying at the Marriott Hotel, and it was the National Tattoo and Piercing Convention was meeting there. And we got to meet some really interesting people. So this morning, I want to speak to you about living a spiritual life. And I want to start by telling you something that Reverend Eric Butterworth said. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Eric Butterworth, but he was a unity minister. And I used to tell my congregation all the time that I thought Eric Butterworth was the greatest New Thought teacher of our lifetime. Not when Holmes and, the people that started Unity were there, but in our lifetime. He's written some fabulous books, and he's got a great style. And one of the things he said was that the Alpha and Omega of Jesus' teaching was about the divinity of man. And when I think about that, I think what he was trying to tell us was all of Jesus' teaching from start to finish was to teach us about our own divinity and how you and I are one with the divine presence that created, mountains, oceans, all the beauty that's around us. And so, there's a story, I have a feeling it's not true, but it's been around for a really long time. And that is that one day Socrates was sitting on the side of the road, and somebody came up to him that didn't know who he was and said, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me how to get to Mount Olympus?" And Socrates said, "Yes, I can. Make every step you take be in that direction." For you and I to reach the Mount Olympus in our life, what we need to do is bring about a radical, permanent change in our consciousness. And what I mean by that, we need to be willing to do the work to get our consciousness as deep as it can be. And so I want to read you a quote from Butterworth. He said, "Our humanity is but the degree to which we have given expression to our divinity. We are human in expression, but divine in creation and limitless in potentiality." Let me read that last part again. We are human in expression, but divine in creation and limitless in potentiality. And I think what he's saying to us, because we're all divinely created, there's really nothing we can't do because we're working with the divine presence. Ernest Holmes said that if you have a dream, if you have something that's constantly nudging that you want to do, God put that thought there. And he said, this isn't a quote now, but he said, what kind of God would it be that would give you that dream, that would give you that urging, and wouldn't give you the way to bring it forth in your life? Certainly not the God that we teach, huh? So one of the modern day writers that I really like a lot is Barbara DeAngelis. I don't know how many of you have read her stuff, but she reminds me a lot of Wayne Dyer because, she's modern, she's clear, and she makes a lot of spiritual points in a very painless way. And one of the stories she tells is being on an airplane. And I guess she had the window seat. And she noticed that the guy in front of her had the shade pulled all the way down to about 4 inches from the bottom. So from the bottom of the shade, it was like this. And so for him to look out the window, he had to sit like this. And that's what he did. He's sitting like this. And her initial thought was, well, it's just a quick peek. But it wasn't. He sat like that through the whole flight. And she said a flight attendant actually went up to him and said, "Sir, would you like to raise the shade?" And he said, "Oh, no, I'm fine." And Barbara, you know how you can have two thoughts in your head at one time? The two thoughts that she had going on were, why would anybody do that? And the second thought was, why am I so obsessed by it? And then she got why she was so obsessed by it. She said, because so many of us live our lives like that. We live our lives with the shade of our perception lowered, that we look at life through a very small piece of our consciousness, and we forget that we can change that. And she said, we condemn ourselves to being uncomfortable in how we live, in how we do relationships, in how we do pretty much everything. So Reverend Ken said that I've been a minister for a long time. I graduated Art School of Ministry in 1998. And one of the things that's always reaffirming to me when I put a message together is when I see what we teach is also what a lot of the more mainline religions also teach. And not only that, but what people on the other side of the world in totally different cultures teach. So I want to take you through a couple now. So the first one is the late head of the Western Sufis who lived in Paris. And he said, there are people who believe that the world is their prison. And he said, the world isn't our prison, our thinking is our prison. Does that sound familiar? Our thinking is our prison. And he said, when we look at the daily drama of life, like earning a living, like illness, like relationships, he said, they don't make it difficult to attain illumination. He said, in fact, they're the path to illumination. He said they're not roadblocks. What he called them was creative catalysts for spiritual evolution. I love that term, creative catalysts for spiritual evolution. And he said the real test of living a spiritual life is how we handle our everyday problems. And the other person I wanted to mention, remember, we all know, I look around, we're all around, we're not in our 20s anymore, so you all know who the Beatles are. And do you remember at the height of their fame, they all went to India to study? Well, the person they went to study with was the Maharishi who created transcendental meditation. And one of the things he said was, you can sit here isolated from the world and gain enlightenment, but the real test of enlightenment is, can you do that in Times Square? Think about that. So there's probably nobody in here that at some time or other hasn't had the thought, my life is really hard. I really don't want to go on like this. I want to make some changes in my life. I want my life to have more purpose and more meaning. And there's a name for that. I actually raised the name with my wife today, and she said, "Don't say that word," so I won't. But the spiritual word is divine discontent. And I think of that as kind of spirit nudging us to live a more spiritual life, to release what's not working in our life and become the people that we're meant to be. All of us have some kind of purpose or mission in life. And we have that because we're all unique. And nobody else can live that purpose for us. So if we don't do it, it's lost to the world. And some of us have really big purposes, but we're all not going to be president of the United States. We're all not going to hit 60 home runs. But just as much as the world needs them, the world needs good plumbers, good electricians, good teachers, good parents. All of those roles are just as important in their own way. And my wife and I have a great relationship, but I can't live her purpose. Now, she thinks she could live mine, but that's a whole different talk. So I'll hear about that on the way back to the hotel. So Rabbi Shani Labowitz said years ago, late rabbi, that God dreamed a dream in you. And we know that dream is real when we live it and when what we do in life feels good. And not only that, what we do for the people in our life feels good for them and feels good for us. And she said, it doesn't depend on any outside factors. It just depends on our living in integrity and living as the person we're meant to be. I know you all know this. We become what we think. And what we think is where the infinite meets the finite. And I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So Rachel Remen is an MD. She's a doctor, and she has a clinic in Northern California where she treats people that have serious illnesses. And one day, a fellow who was studying psychiatry asked her if he could sit in on one of her sessions. And she said, sure. And so I want to tell you about the session that he sat in on. It was a young former gangbanger who was all tattooed up. He really looked the part. And his 19-year-old girlfriend who had advanced cancer and very little time to live. And the session consisted of him, most of the session, telling Rachel how much he loved this woman and what she had done for his life, how she had turned his life totally around, and he discovered love within him that he never knew he had, and compassion and kindness and caring. And at some point, Rachel looked beyond them to this fellow, and she saw he had put down his pad and pen, and tears were streaming down his face. And after the session was over, she went to him and she said, so, did you learn anything today? And he said, yeah, I did. And she said, tell me what you learned. And he said, I learned we're all more than we seem. We're all more than we seem. Because within each of us is that divine divine presence. And recently I heard another way of putting that. And one of Becky and my mentors made her transition in June. And we couldn't get to her memorial service, but somebody sent us a piece of it. And they described when she would do church and somebody would be a real pain to her, or some young kid would walk in with his hair spiked 5 different colors. She would turn to one of her friends and say, "Well, look how God showed up today." So, Michael Singer is a writer some of you may have heard of. He wrote a book called The Untethered Soul. And in that book, he says, it's really hard to get to know God because there's so many different religions, so many different concepts. He said, but we do have an advantage because within us, there's that divine presence, and we have the choice of whether we team up with it or not. And he said, how do you know that you've teamed up with that divine presence? He said, you walk around feeling love for no reason at all. And I thought, when I was looking over my notes again today, just think, there are like 7 billion of us on the planet. Just think if 7 billion people walked around feeling love for no reason at all. No more war, no more poverty, no more hunger, no more whatever. We would actually be living what we teach, that we want to make the world a better place for everybody. Now, we're probably not close to that yet, but it sure as heck is a goal, isn't it? So another writer that really resonates with me is Wayne Muller, who's written some great books. He's a great speaker. And one of the books he wrote was Sabbath Time. And he said it's a time to listen to that still small voice. And when we celebrate what's sacred within us. And there's so many ways that we can do that. We can light candles. We can sing wherever our singer is. We can tell stories. We can go out to have a great meal with friends. We can take a nap. We can make love. We can take a walk in nature. We can meditate. Or we could just be still. And I'll tell you how one of the ways that I do it. Becky and I live in Port St. John, Florida. We live right across from NASA. And we live right on the Indian River. I mean, we live about 200 feet from the river, which if you didn't know it was a river, you'd think it was an ocean. It's so big, except it doesn't have tides. And we have a screened-in porch. And I really like, when the weather is more moderate, to do my work out there, because I can look up and I could see the beauty of the water. If I'm lucky, I see dolphins break the surface, or manatees and sailboats out there. And it just takes me to a place of such peace. And, it doesn't have to be that. We can choose. I just gave you a bunch. And you could choose your own way of doing that and getting in touch with spirit. So what do you call what you do every day? Whether it's go to work or volunteer or chores, the different things you do every day. You know what that's called? A life. It's called a life. That's how we live our life every single day. And I like to say that in that life, there are some firecracker moments, the big things, like maybe when you graduate high school or college, your first love, first job. You know, those are really big things, but they happen once in a while. So I want to share something with you, really personal, that is absolutely going to embarrass my wife, but it's a good embarrassment. There's my phone. Okay, it's off now, and it's an iPhone. And in that iPhone, there were pictures. And one of the sets of pictures that I have is of our wedding day. And every single day, I did it this morning, actually, in the hotel room, and I did it again in the car. I go in there, and I tap one or two, and I just look at him for a few seconds, and I do it to remind me how much in love with her I was that day. How I couldn't hardly believe, some days I still couldn't hardly believe, that that person was going to say, I want to spend the rest of my life with him. And, you know, but that was like a firecracker moment. In December, it'll be 35 years ago. And in order to really live a spiritual life, I need to find a way to bring that love into today. You know, and we were kind of kidding about it yesterday because Becky knew what I was going to do today. And it's when she said to me, like she said yesterday, I just did a load of wash. Will you help me fold the clothes and put them away? Or will you take out the garbage for me? Or I'm going to Publix. You want to come along, keep me company? That's what makes it a spiritual life. I think of those, you know, what the Maharishi said about Times Square. Those are my Times Square moments. And I'm not saying this to you to say what a great guy I am, but it's that anybody could do that. It's not that hard. And it doesn't have to be with a spouse. It could be with your neighbor, with the lady that checks you out of Publix, with one of your kids, your boss, a neighbor, anybody. We can reach out with the love that's within. And when we do that, we help them reach out to their love that's within. You know, we become what we think about and what we love. So I want to end with a fable, okay? And it's a fable about a lady named Myra. And Myra lived a long time ago in a small village that was surrounded by mountains and pine trees. And she was a really good person. People liked her. She was kind. She was caring. And like a lot of us, Myra was taught that God was in the sky, in the church or temple, or in the words of learned people. And so she studied. You know, she prayed, she read, she hoped, but she always felt this sense of separation. And then one day, something happened in her life that changed. Somebody that Myra loved a great deal died. And so she went out into the forest and she sat down by a tree and she sobbed. And then she called out to God and she said, "Where are you? Why do you evade me? How can I find you?" And then she just sat in silence. And after a while, she felt something. It wasn't outside her. It was within her, a warmth in her chest. And it needed nothing. It was like, it was a presence. It was a peace. It was God, not above her, not beyond her, but as her. And when she went back to the village, people said, as good as she was before, they saw a difference. And they said, what happened to you? And all she would say was, well, I sat by the fire and it never goes out. And you know, that story isn't just about Myra. It's about you and me too. Because right now, all of us have a flame within us. And it's not waiting to be earned. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. It's not buried beneath any guilt or any shame. It's simply your divine essence, that spark of God, that's your real nature. And you don't have to go to the forest to find it. You just have to become still and listen. It's not anything outside of us. It's right there within us. It's not the presence of God that we visit. It's something that we are. And so I invite you today and every day to sit by that inner fire, to breathe with it, to walk with it, and to live from it. Because that's the flame that's within you, and that's the flame that lights the world, and it never goes out. God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Cool.
Thank you. A lot of thoughts. That kind of love just makes me happy. That kind of love just gets me through. The kind of love I only get from you. When I feel it deep inside me, I know there's nothing I can't do. And that's the kind of love I get from you. You are the answer to whatever troubling me. In time of anger, it's as though my heart were locked, but you got the key. The kind of love just makes me happy. The kind of love just gets me through. The kind of love I only get from you. And when I feel it deep inside me, I know there's nothing I can't do. And that's the kind of love I get from you. I thought I was abandoned, and it somehow lost my way. Empty heart and handed, then you filled me with your love. And I gotta say, that kind of love just makes me happy. The kind of love just gets me through. The kind of love I only get from you. And when I feel it deep inside me, I know there's nothing I can do. And that's the kind of love I get from you. You are the sunlight that starts my every day. And when the day is done, you're still with me here. And I got to say, that kind of love just makes me happy. That kind of love just gets me through. The kind of love I only get from you. And when I feel it deep inside me, I know there's nothing I can't do. And that's the kind of love I get from you. And that's the kind of love I get from you. And that's the kind of love I get from you.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Ron, for that amazing message. Now we come to the time of our service where we support our center, and we support this place because it is doing lots of great and good work. Now, you can support us in several ways. You can do volunteer work with us. We always have programs that we need some help with. You can support us in consciousness. You can do prayer work, seeing our center full of people and getting our message out. And of course, you can support us in coin. However you choose to support us, know that your donation is going to return to you multiplied abundantly. And if you will take your intentions and place it over your heart and read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. Well, thank you in advance for your contributions. If the ushers will step down. Don, I know you got something great for us.
I've been sticking with this one. It's a Kev Moe song, but it seems appropriate. It's called Hand It Over. If your problems won't go away and you're worried both night and day, hand it over. Get down on your knees and pray. If you're sick or feeling low, got no money, no place to go, hand it over. Get down on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Hand it over. Get down on your knees and pray. Ain't no mountain you can't climb, ain't no answer you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold, it'll heal your body and feed your soul. If the road is dark and you can't find your way, just let the Spirit light your way. Hand it over, get down on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over. Give it up. Give it over. Hand it over. Get down on your knees and pray. Hand it over. Hand it over. Give it up. Give it over. Hand it over. Honey, get down on your knees and pray.
Okay, thank you, Don. And thank you, Joy. And thank you for your support. Your support is helping the center grow and to thrive, to continue to be a beacon of hope and love and compassion, just like that lighthouse on the shore. We're sending out every day, every week, beacons of hope and compassion. And you never know who is out on those deep waters, toss and turn, that need this encouragement. So you are doing your part to make the world a better place. We're grateful for it. Spirit is going to reward you and bless you abundantly, and you're here doing the work you need to do. So we thank you, we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and perfect work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, dear friends, we're going to conclude our service with an affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. Let's say something that works for you, hold tight to that. Let's say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. There is but one God and one mind and one power. That power is perfect love. And it called me by name from stardust so I can walk the soil of St. Augustine. So here today in this sacred place filled with all these wonderful loving souls, I choose to know the truth about myself. I choose to see myself as Spirit sees me. Not as weak and wounded, but bold, dynamic, out in the world being a blessing, being a conduit for God's joy, its love, and its compassion. So here today, I can look out on the world and I may see confusion and turmoil. But like the storm clouds that are here today, I can rise above and bask in the glory of God's light. I know I am here to do good and purposeful work. Spirit has called me by name, and so I am moving on. I am breaking free and moving past every bit of bondage, confusion, lack, and limitation. I have lifted my eyes up and I have seen the glory of God made manifest, raining down upon me blessings. So here today, I leave this place encouraged. Here today, I leave here inspired. Here today, I leave here knowing who I am and whose I am, a child of the Most High, here to be a radiant example of Spirit's love and blessing. God and I are on a mission to make this life the best life possible, a mission to rain down love, rain down blessings, to rain down compassion and kindness. Spirit has spoke to me and I am not turning back. I see the glory of God made manifest and I'm on the move. This is my truth. Every cell in my being radiates this right knowing. And I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and that is your life. Your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle Spirit is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world gonna be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. I'll put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. You've got to put a little love in your heart. Yeah. And all the girls sing. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart. Hey, hey, and the world gonna be a place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. You've got to put a little love in your heart. We're gonna put a little love in our hearts. Oh, well, take a good look around. And if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope you will decide kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and you know the world's gonna be a better place. Yeah, the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Oh, put a little love in your heart. We gotta put a little love in our heart. Oh, we're gonna put a little love in our heart. We know we'll live if we put a lot of love in our heart. Oh, oh. Have a great day.